Oh, that was dancing to the tune. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you so much for joining tonight on the in review on the late one, looking at some of the main news, if anything. Um, a simple topic which I've named tonight, and it's very simple. It's really the changing game of the UK and the bold missing funds. You must have realized that I was on the topic of bold and the missing funds last week, and it's still operating this week. But at the same time, want us to recognize that within the UK, we still have things doing. We still have operations doing. We got a prime minister which is trying to run the country. We also have the the world coming to a point where are they trying to create a world war with Russia? Germany, UK sending over some of these equipments. Are they looking for a world war? Yeah. And the prime minister, should his number 10, should he reshuffle his cabinet and reshuffle out the chairman of the Conservative Party and also a cabinet member because of the recent developments of his HMRC? Even though HMRC is now saying that he acted appropriately. The next thing as well, one of the things why I said the changing game in the UK is because there is a place which is called LaRose Lane. LaRose Lane. But before it was LaRose Lane or La Rose Lane, it was formerly Black Boy Lane. And it strikes me that so many people are changing up things and people are concerned about the names which they have had over the years with different things. And yet at the same time, I want to say that in Jamaica, there's supposed to be some changing of things as well. But not to talk about that, but why so many changes? Why is it like people are trying to change history? Is it that history is changing before our eyes? Is it that people do not like what history represents and they want to change it because it doesn't look good? It doesn't fit very well. So everybody's changing up things. But at the same time, is it that some of the things which were created, some of the things which were named, some of the things which were established many years ago, they are looking at it now and they're actually saying, no way, Jose, we don't agree with that. It shouldn't have been. And as a result of that, we are going to change it. Um, we can change it. Let me see. Here I am. There you go. You go. You know. Well, I want to invite you for those who are coming on, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, and let me just share this video and let me see if yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can get this changed. Mhm. January 26th. But one of the things, yeah, let me just change. Let me just share this, and if you're in a position to share it as well, um, please share it. Let me see if I can do something here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Where are you from? Let me know where you're from. Yeah. Let me just change something. I must say Monday night, while I'm here Monday night, I'm going to have a discussion with Victoria Mutual Finance. So Victoria Mutual Finance is going to be on the show Sunday night at 9 p.m. and they're going to talk about their how they're they restructure and how they somehow will, you know, protect your money. Everybody's talking about how do you protect my money? If I go to Jamaica on the diaspora, how do you protect my money? Well, this is what they're saying. We will protect your money. So Sunday night, you can actually hear how they're gonna do that. Let me just get this in here. Uh, yep. Okay. Yeah. Good. There we are. Okay. Gary asked me a while ago for the details. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, the two things which is very concerning is and many people are actually having a go, I would say, at the prime minister at this time. That is the UK prime minister, which is Rishi Sunak. I mean, w- the the whole aspect of him um, being questioned. That is right. A member of parliament or a prime minister must be questioned. But now, some of the things that leaders say when leaders actually go into a position, when they stand at the dispatch box and their first time when they address the UK public is like to say that my government will be of integrity, my government will have greater accountability, and we sort out everything. But what we're having here is Conservative Party chairman Nadine Zara is under pressure over his tax affairs. Right? All right, see if I can play it, if I can show that for you. To the Greenwash reports penalty. Let me see if I can get this here. To the Black Boy Lane. To the Greenwash report. Silla Braverman. Let me see. Uh, uh, where is it? No penalties for innocent tax errors, HMRC boss says. Why can't I show this? No penalties. Here we are. So no penalties for innocent tax errors, HMRC boss says. Right? No penalty. Right? Conservative Party chairman Nadine Zara is under pressure over his tax affairs. And what I said, there are no penalties for innocent tax errors. The boss of HMR Revenue Customs has said. Jim Harris comments MPs come amid pressure on Nadine Zara after it emerged he paid penalty to the tax authority. Well, at least that Mr. Zahari somehow is real, and everyone has missed or somehow have their penalty. I mean, a lot of people are going to have their penalty coming up very shortly for the 31st this month. You know, and definitely they are going to be feeling the full brunt of HMRC charging them fees. Right? How are you, Gary? You good, man? Can you hear me, Gary?
Yeah,
You can hear.
I
Good, good, good.
can hear you. Hear me?
Huh?
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
I can hear you clearly,
Can
live
you
and direct. Let me see. Let me see if I
Okay,
can.
that's good. That's
Yeah. How's your week so far? Well, we're in Thursday now, the end of the week.
well, you've crowned it off, my friend, because I'm back on the Seymour Studio show.
Well, you know what? You know what? We've got to keep flying the torch as much as possible. As the other day I was speaking about and said that we're ambassadors. You know, we're ambassadors for our country, the
Yes.
land of our birth. In Jamaica, I was walking in the park and I said, I'm an ambassador. Ambassador for the family, ambassador for my mother. you know, you got a haircut though. You're like a young boy.
Yeah. Well, I want to be. I'm trying to get. Your, I'm trying to get your standard,
Standard.
but I'm going to
Well,
do.
well, well, people will be shocked to know my age because sometimes they guess my age and I realize maybe they're wanting something. You know what I mean? But listen, um, Gary, I was trying to think about what to say today because there's so much things which is going on in the world, and if I'm not careful, I'll be so focused upon Jamaica, and here I'm in the UK, whereby we are seeing things like the prime minister being questioned about is number 10 is conservative chairman, whether or not he should sack him. We're seeing whereby Russia is at loggerheads with the UK and Germany. We are trying to get more, what should I say, tanks and all those things to prolong this war, as far as I'm concerned. And then there's a change in game in the UK whereby they're changing so many things. So many things are being changed up these days, Gary. You know that a street is even called boy. You know, Black Boy Lane being changed, and we're going to that. I don't know what's your thoughts on
Yeah.
what is coming out at you in regards to this world, Sep- s- separate from Usain Bolt and Jamaica. We'll touch on Jamaica at some point because so many things are cracking up over there at the same time, which we have to keep an eye on.
Well, my brother and friend, I think that I don't want to get too hung up on. Even though I could, and it would be very easy to. And I think you. I don't want to lose any of your listeners, but I think that what Europe is doing right now, what Europe
Yeah,
is doing right now is that they're pouring fuel onto the fire. There's a fire that's ablazing. A
mm,
fire has been lit. It was lit from, was it February of this year, or was it no, last year? Last year, was it
yeah,
February or March that Russia went
yeah. When
into
when they went into Ukraine, mm,
right. That fire now is blazing, and the fuel that the United States, that Germany, that um, Germany, that um, is it Sweden? I can't remember which of
yeah,
the Scandinavian countries have poured. The UK have put have also added to the fire. It's becoming very messy. It's becoming very
mm,
messy, and Russia,
yeah,
Putin, put it that way, Putin is using that to his advantage. He's using that to stoke the flames and even to give him more and or added reason to continue the fight in Ukraine. And it could spread because I don't know whether any of your listeners are aware
mm,
or have been made to aware. And let's assume that they
mm,
are all intelligent. That you've because you've got some, I'm sure, university guys, you've got some
Mm.
guys who are very astute with with what's happening in world politics, but a submarine was sent to the mid Atlantic with a missile that could hit and strike, anywhere in the United States if they so desire. So
Yeah.
Russia, Russia is doing some things that probably the rest of the world are not aware of. And when I
Mm.
say the rest of the world, I don't mean the heads of governments because they know much more than what they're letting on. But I'm saying ordinary men and women like us, who they may not really know what's going on, and they're not being told. They're not being told. The news, ITV, CNN,
Yeah.
BBC, Al Jazeera, these guys are not. They're not reporting that there is a submarine now or a ship in the mid-Atlantic with missiles that could be trained from Russia, a Russian vessels with a Russian missile. What what is it called?
Submarine? I don't know.
No,
Something, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
hypersonic that
Mm.
can hit anywhere within the United States within a couple of minutes. You
Yes.
know, so
The, it,
it's
it, it,
Hendo.
it, it, it is right at a treacherous time because Sleepy Joe, I mean, President Biden, U.S. joins Germany in sending battle tanks to Ukraine,
Uh,
which was there. And talk about U.S. will send 31 powerful battle tanks to Ukraine, joining Germany in sending the vehicles to support the fight against Russia's invasion. The decision to deliver the M1 Abrams tank was announced just hours after Germany said it would send 14 of its Leopard 2 tanks to the battlefield. Now, Germany, after the war, tend not to get involved with too much things, but they are very good at creating weapons, but not in using it and staying out of the wars after the World War. But what is coming to me is that we're seeing, as you said, it's a build-up, just like when we are thinking things are de-escalating, and somehow Russia is trying to pull out in a way. Maybe some people say he's trying to find a way out, looking great, but they are not making it easy for him. And if he's a madman, if he's a madman, you don't play with a madman. At the same time, um, let me just say hi to Vita, greetings and blessings, and Melverton Newell. He's ready to talk about Usain Bolt, organized demonstration for the theft of Bolt's money. Um, but when we think about the world and what is happening now, we won't even think about Usain Bolt money. We might not even have time to think about Usain Bolt and his money. That is if he has any money.
that's true. That's true.
So without a doubt, with what is happening, I think we've got to be very careful that we don't keep an eye on these things. And then it points again to the point that government, when they go into power, they do what they want to do. And because you have given them the authority over the period of 4 or 5 years. For the UK, many people are saying you have got a prime minister who is unelected, a prime minister who was beaten by the person who they wanted to win. That was Liz Truss, and and therefore is acting somewhat ultra virus. But of course, I know differently because that's how the system is, you know. But I'm very concerned about what is happening there, um, in Germany. Sorry, in building up towards Ukraine there, and what is happening. And if I'm to look at some of the vehicles here, it says M1 Abrams crew 4-1 more than Ukrainian main battle tanks, armor, Choban protects against direct hits, weight 67 tons heavier than Russian's equivalent. There it is. And then it goes further, the Leopard 2, you know. So it's like these guys and Gary, they talk there's no money for the nurses, you know?
It's not really a lot. It's not really a lot of sense.
Yeah.
it's not really making a lot of sense because you know
There the nurses are.
they
What? There they are. They want money. They want money.
they can
And these
spend
guys are
money,
sending ships.
for
Mm,
of the economy, but when it comes to flesh and blood, when it comes to people on the ground, then there's nothing to be given. I don't understand. But you know what? Money makes war, or war makes money. Put it that way. War makes money, funnily enough. And whenever countries need to kickstart certain sections of the economy, then they will make war. They will go to war because money needs to be made. So it's not that again. We've got if you think the way how some of these guys think, there's no money to be made in the NHS. NHS is that we have to give money, but
mm.
NHS is not a money making
Machinery.
department, right? But what makes the money is that okay, we are sending. Let's say, just for argument's sake, I don't know the figures, but let's say that the UK needs to send £1 billion worth of equipment. They may not
Yes.
have it initially, but what they can do is that they get the wheels of that industry turning, so that
Mm,
in the making of the technology, in the making of the machine that they're hoping to export, they are then making it in order for it to be sold. So
yeah.
raw materials come in, and again that's how technology is tested, because I guarantee you that there are certain technologies that we certainly have not heard about, but it's
Mm,
going to be tested on the battlefield, so that when it's tried and tested and it is successful, then obviously it will bring in other monies, because other countries are looking and are viewing what the what the army, the navy, and the air force has new that
yeah.
could be adapted to their machinery, to their equipment, and that's
Mm.
how it's made. NHS is not. I think we've got to look at it in these terms. NHS is not a money making department.
So what
It
you're trying to say?
needs
Yeah. Go on. Keep talking. Sorry. Go ahead.
so it needs money. Yes, it does, and they will admit to it all the time, 24/7. They will admit that the NHS needs money, but they can't say. I've never heard a politician, whether in the past or even now, that will come out and say that we need to go to war in order to give the money to the departments that need it. Obviously, money will always go back towards to the army and to the defense
Yeah. Yeah.
department in order to keep that going. But that in and of itself, a certain part of that will then be siphoned off by the government to be redirected to other departments.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, the love of money is the root of all evil is the love of money, but it takes cash to care at the same time. Money answer to all things. But I coined this topic here, Gary, today, which was the changing game, the UK and both missing funds. But the changing game, I was looking at it of recent days because if you notice that the within the UK culture now, and with the so-called woke mentality, I just use the word woke so that I can quickly quicken people's spirit so they know what I'm talking about, is that people are changing lots of things. People are looking at dates, not dates, people are looking at names, streets, houses, you know, institutions, the names, what it represents, and say it's time to change it. They don't care about history. What they're trying to say is correct history. Is it correcting history? Or is it history? Or is it what we don't like to see? Because you can't change history. History is history, isn't it? You can't change a fact, you know. And when sorry,
No, go ahead, go ahead,
yeah,
finish, go ahead.
and when I look at this Larousse Lane, which is now called Larousse Lane, it was formerly Black Boy Lane N15 in Tottenham. Uh, what do you think about that? They have changed it. People have changed it, and I'm gonna go further into a couple of things that I want to talk about. But people are changing things. They're changing institution names from formerly name aligned to slavery or so. Even Aretha Franklin, I think RESPCT, I think they're trying to change that. Or the song about "I'm Woman, Hear Me Roar." They're changing those songs, Gary.
I
People are
think that
changing things. Yeah. Mm.
I I think Seymour, that the further we move away from history, when I say history, the past, like the recent history, the further we move away from, okay, let's say this for example. When I'm an early 60s baby boomer, yeah, born in almost at the very beginning of the 1960s. Now we are very close, even though, are you seeing me?
Sorry, I can see you now. Go on, go on. I think I made a mistake here. Go on, Gary. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Even though 1960, how many years between 1960 and 1945?
20.
Okay, about
1960,
25,
15, 1960 and 1945, 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Now that's not a lot of years,
Yeah.
even
So
though it's
I just I need to say this. A couple persons who came on a while ago, I think I touched something, and I think I lost your comment or so. I do apologize for that. Melvin and someone from Texas. I can't seem to find them, but carry on still. Yeah. Yes, Gary. Uh-huh.
yeah. Even though it's, yeah, 15 years. It's a long time, but it's not a long time. So
Yeah.
we being born and coming up, being taught about the Second World War, it
Yeah.
was closer to us than it is closer to our children.
Mm.
We were told, we were taught, in school about that history, and Germany and Hitler and all of these guys. We were taught about Mussolini,
Mm.
and about General Destant, who was the president of France and such.
Yes.
Our children now and grandchildren, when they think or when they hear about World War II, they cannot get that in their heads. You know,
Yes.
they can't compute that. They know they've heard of it, but they can't get it together as much as us.
Yes.
So when we see things changing now, we've got to understand that the history that we know, the history that we were taught, the things of the past that was so close to us,
Mm.
is not really close to this generation. So it's
Yes.
very easy for them to change things. Not only the names of roads, because there may have
Mm.
been a reason why it was called Black Boy,
Boy. Yes.
Black Boy Road or whatever. But that now is nothing to them. It's what history, what effect has it on their lives? Like we could have probably said the same thing, but our generation was quite different because we didn't change anything. We just accepted it.
Now that's a very interesting point that you mentioned. We didn't change anything. We accepted many things, and the new set of generation is coming forth now. And okay, the previous generation, I get it, was a generation that was working hard, falling in line with the system because they were not of this world. They were actually of a different world in a sense, coming out of slavery, and they came to the UK, they came to the USA or whatever like that, and they just fall in line. But now the new generation who is awake and woke and actually say, hang on a second, why is it called Black Boy? Black Boy Lane. What's the background behind Black Boy Lane? Let's change it. And this is not just black people only, black and white people changing things. Now when I hear of things like the Jamaica becoming an independent. And I always talk about this all the while. It's like, and when you hear about the out of many one people, like those mottos, these are things which was handed down to Jamaica. When you hear about the whole thing with Bolt now and the fiasco, and people have just been accepting things for years, Gary. And now a new breed is actually saying, let's change it. A new breed is coming up on bloggings and everything. Everybody's talking. Let's change this. Let's mash up this whole structure. I mean, it's radical, I think, but at the same time, you can't get rid of it. It's going to be like a Arab Spring in a different format, which is happening right before our very eyes. Happened a
Yes.
lot in the UK, but it's now happening in other countries now.
Yes. It's. I think. I mean, this. Our world leaders from, let's say, George Bush Senior, and probably I'm not sure about Ronald Reagan, but we know that George Bush Senior, he spoke very much about a new world order, and from that time until now,
Mm,
if not more, if not all, most of the United States presidents,
yes,
when they're making their statements in the very beginning, they have mentioned the new world order, and I
yes,
really believe that um, there's been a very
yes.
subtle, but a very distinct change in how things are being done and how um, things are being changed, because things are not being changed. Um, um, well, things are not being changed
Mm,
by agreement. I think things
yes.
are being changed. Um, things are being changed
Forcefully, forcefully.
forcefully and even through violence. But it's
Yes,
being done. If you notice, it's being
mm,
done from the root up. It's not
yes,
so much the government doing anything, because the government, they don't want to be seen to be doing any changes. They you know they are allowing the change, in
mm,
as much as it's been painful, to start from the grassroots
yes,
upwards.
yes. Can I just I'm just having some interaction with some members here. Um, can Kevin Moulton, if you're there, and Milverton Newell, um, Altiling or so, just write something, say something, because I'm just checking my platform here. I think I touched a button, and I think I've lost a few persons who were commenting. I think I maybe even touched block or something like that. I think I was messing with man. So if you can write something, Kelvin, Moulton, and Milverton Newell. If you write something, let me see if you're there and if it comes up. Yeah, it's interesting, Gary. The way the world is changing before our very eyes, and what is, and I believe, which this massive new awakening, is putting a trouble on leaders because they realize they cannot somehow control people as much as possible. Even in France, I think the age of retirement has jumped from 62 to 64. And nobody's showing that. Nobody's showing that, Gary, but they're demonstrating in France big time.
Yeah. Well, okay, okay. Let me mention something here. Okay, it
Yeah,
it just came to my mind, and I want
yeah,
to say something here. And I don't know if we did mention it last week. You may remind me.
yeah.
Look what they did to this guy who owns FTX. You remember that company, FTX?
Yes, some crypto company or something like that.
Right.
Yes.
Now, previous to all of this, yes,
Mm,
there was talk amongst the governments, at least the Western governments, about Bitcoin and that kind of that the whole world in regard to that finance. Yes.
yes.
Now they're saying, no, they were then saying, if somebody out there can help me on this, if they were saying that it's as if they didn't want to touch it. It's as if it was unsure. They were sending signals about it to say, well, it's not. Even though China says yes, we're going to go for it. We're going to sanction it. The Western governments were saying no, they shouldn't. Blah blah blah. They were throwing up all of the negative side of it. All of a sudden, right? And I'm not sticking up for the guy who owned FTX or who ran it
Yeah.
or whatever. But what I'm saying, I just want to show how how funny things are. All of a
Mm.
sudden, they then they then highlight this guy, highlight FTX that is not being run
Yes.
properly. Thousands have gone missing. He looks after himself. He pays off people. He's buying this. He's buying that. He's in the Bahamas. They arrest him for money laundering, for fraud. For people then began to say it's a Ponzi scheme and
Mm.
all of that, right? No, and I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying what I'm just trying to highlight some things that just does not seem right. Now he's
Yes.
arrested. They've more or less closed down FTX to some extent because it's not trading anymore.
Yes.
But then, there are little bits coming out that the Federal Reserve or even the financial institutions or department of the government now wants to more or less look at that area and control it.
Yes.
You see, are you getting my point here? Are
Yeah.
you trying
Yeah.
to get what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see, they don't. It would seem that they don't want they don't want independent private companies to come in and to control a market that will reap their benefits without the control of the government coming in. They want to control.
Yes.
So let's say, for argument's sake, Silbon CDL comes out with a particular instrument. Nobody's heard of that way of making money like that. Seymour CDL then becomes a billionaire, a trillionaire
Don't tell
overnight.
nobody. Don't tell nobody.
Overnight, okay, you're making money. As far as some people are concerned, it's genuine because they're coming along with you. They've bought into you. Because people
Yes.
don't become millionaires. People don't become billionaires without the help of others. They're
Yes.
not, no man is an island, no man stands alone. So it's always with the help of others. And bearing in mind, this guy that had FTX, he's no fool. I've,
Yes.
I've heard that his parents are lawyers, and they're
Yes.
lawyers in a particular area that would safeguard their son. So to some extent, they were squeaky clean. Then,
Mm.
going back to our example, you become such a high flyer. You've come to the notice of governments. You've come to the notice of financial institutions. You've got enemies, whether you like to receive it or not. You got enemies that you don't know. They
Yes.
want to see your downfall. Not only that, but they want to control what you have.
Mm. Mm.
So what do they then do? They send out messages that it's a Ponzi scheme. You've done fraud. It's not right. It's illegal. Where is Seymour CDL? Oh, you may just be
Yeah.
in the Bahamas sunning yourself, but as far as they're concerned, you're there because you're
Yes.
invading capture. So you see, the thing about, I'm not saying that that is what the guy did. All
Mm.
I'm trying to say is that governments before now didn't want to touch Bitcoin, or the messages that they were giving out is that they don't want. It's very iffy. It's not secure. It's not
Yes.
safe. Stay away from it. This
Yeah.
blockchain that they're trying that seems to be coming into the financial markets. It's
But
not.
now, yeah. But
But
now we are seeing that the fiat and the general thing is not so safe, or people can rip you off very easily. Either
but
way, yeah,
But then it come. But then watch what happens though. Still, what I'm trying to say is this: is that
yeah,
the governments then come in because they see that it's a way of control. It's a way of
mm,
controlling the citizens, controlling you and your
yeah,
finance. Because
yeah,
there is talk now that this instrument or these instruments which the governments now are looking at is going to be able to tell you what you can buy and what you
yeah,
can't buy, where you can go or where you can't go. It's
yeah.
all about control, my friend.
Control. Well, let me just say what Milverton Newell said. The present generation. This is about young people now. The present generation is receiving more information and can process and understand what is taking place in the society. Okay, hear what he said. The present generation is receiving more information and can process and understand what is taking place in the society. Is it that the generation before weren't receiving the information, were receiving the information but could not process it, or their focus and their interests were other places, as we discussed earlier? They weren't focused. Right now, the present generation can just, well, in the UK, USA, well, UK, they can get up and don't do anything and just decide that they live in this entitled world. I go further by Mr. Moulton here. It's a pleasure being here. There are changes worldwide, but individuals and political parties do have their agendas, and in fact, some countries tend to ape the metropolitan countries' hate and entrenched policies and actions. You know, it's very interesting what's going on, because I jumped straight over into the Usain Bolt saga, and in regard to the Usain Bolt saga, there's a massive twist to it. I don't know if you have been following it. I sometimes I'm following it and I pull back, and sometimes people are directing me to go to some places, but I pull back because there's so much information going, Gary, and you don't know what to believe. You don't know what to believe. You don't know
True.
what to believe. And when they were saying that Usain Bolt had $12 million in his account and missing as of October, it is coming to realize now that that money wasn't there. It was maybe some fake money which was there. He had put in about $5 or $6 million, and at $5 and $6 million, people have been taking that out. And then the Nigel Clark, who is the Minister of Finance, came out the other day and said FBI is going to be involved. And then the next day, the same Nigel Clark came out and said, actually, we did our investigation and there was an account there from 2012 for Usain Bolt. And then nationwide, another station is coming out with all these different papers that showing all money was taken. It was taken by his workers, taken by his people. Then another person looking at the signature and said, "That's not the signature of the Gene and Panton. That's another signature there." It is totally. It's like everybody's trying to cover somebody, and at the same time they said, "Let the FBI comes in," and everybody's doing the investigation. So in a way, I don't know what to believe, Gary, in
Something is
regards to you.
no, something is going on, and they need
Mm,
to bring. I mean, they need to do some investigation. Something needs to be done
mm,
because how can two CEOs
yes.
this of SSL come in and say that they've never heard of Usain Bolt? His name has never come up.
Hold
So,
on.
so you, Seymour Sidiel, right?
Yes. Yes.
You get paid 12.7 million US
Mm,
and take that to a company, to a financial company,
yes.
and the chairman or the manager or the top don't call you to say welcome, Mr. Sidiel, thanks for
Mm,
investing 12 million with us, and we hope to really help and make you money, blah blah blah, and to be comfortable and to reassure you. 12
mm,
million US. and
Yeah.
and they have not heard of Mr. Bolt putting that amount of money in their institution. Something's going on, man.
Gary, I know something's going on because I said it the other day when the penny fell, when one of the directors or the former CEOs said, during my tenure there, his name never came up in the board meeting. And I said, he could be right. When I check it out, it's not his name his company is in. It's in Wellgen, his father and his mother name. So therefore, that guy was being very economical with the truth by saying his name did not come up during the course of the time in my board meeting. That doesn't mean to say I never know, but it's some legal advice there, Gary. The
Okay,
guys, we get some.
so
Uh,
no. I'm not following you. So you're saying that you said Bolt didn't put it under his name,
it's not in his name. It is in Wellgen
and
Finance, or L is his parents' name. His parent is create a company, and the company is registered in St. Lucia. That's what they're saying now. So everything is all over the place. So therefore, if his name is not on the books, then really and truly, him now not safe. The man want thief him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, Gary. So therefore, that 12 million which you just mentioned a while ago, that 12 million was what they said was in his account as at October 2012. But it found out that as at that date, that was just a fictitious, maybe possible statement which the lady or somebody drafted, because I don't believe that lady alone is involved in it.
no,
I
no, no,
believe
no.
I believe that she's just a face. She's taking the fall. I believe a lot of these guys, because even the prime minister has come out now to say that he closed his account in 2021. And everybody say, hang on. So therefore, by him saying it now, everybody say, why did you close the account in 2021? You know? And many people are now actually talking about the former CEOs. The former CEOs, none of them know about Usain Bolt money. But yet at the same time, in Nationwide, they showed all these different paper trail of requests for money, buying shares there and there. And you don't know who is who because people say it is the former workers, but then this lady said she used a forged signatures. Did she forge signatures there? I don't know. You know, it's it's like there's a it's and then the government, it is said, has invested, or some of the government bodies have invested money in that company, or using that company to somewhat facilitate their thing. This is what somebody said here. They found traces of Bolt's fund in St. Lucia SSL with email authorization from Bolt managers for withdrawals. Kelvin, when you say St. Lucia SSL, are you trying to say there's a SSL also in St. Lucia? Yeah, this is interest. This is what should I call it? Interesting times, whereby people are saying that there's two type of Jamaica: those who get away with things and those who don't get away with things. The man who actually tried to steal some ackee to fill his belly from King's house, and he was arrested. This lady, apparently, she's not arrested. She's being questioned, but maybe she's not arrested. Why is she not arrested?
But but Sylvan, it's like here. I mean, you see, whatever is being done, things are being done so that it will take our attention away from certain things.
Yes. Something else are gone. Something else
A
are
man,
gone.
yeah, a man thief Aki from God knows, but he's arrested. But a man who stab a man down the road is not that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
mean, it's foolishness. It's just ludicrous. It's just silliness. I can't understand. I just don't understand what's going on.
The big question now, because what they said is that the the government now has appointed the Bank of Jamaica to now regulate all financial institutions. And the FSC came out recently and blocked SSL from actually winding up to say they are bankrupt. Because if they do that, then they sort of protect themselves in a certain way, but they block them from doing that at the same time. So now, so now, when I look at it again, I look at it another way to say that I will say Jamaica on the money because it's not just Usain Bolt. When you look at the names, and many people, many many people may be looking at these names now of all these persons. Who sent it to me again? I forget who sent it to me. Um, yes, many people may be looking at these names of these persons, and say, but wait, Gary have 200,000 US dollars. Where him get that money there from? Mary Jane have 1 million US dollars. Where she get that money there from? I'm not gonna call their names, but I'm just going to just to show you a, a couple of the money which is there. And of course, it's not my job to ask people where they get the money from because if they work, they work. But in Jean and Panton's statement, she said one person had $45,000 US, 6,500 US, 35,000 US, 65,000 US. These are the amount of money: 65,000 US, 80,000 US, 55,000 US, 62,000 US, 262,000 US, Gary. 100,000 US, 152,000 US, 158,000 US, 161,000 US, 216,000 US, 614,000 US, 200,000 US, 667,000 US by one person, 116,000 US. So it was 4,000, there's 4,323,073 million dollars that Miss Panton claimed that she took out, and 90 million Jamaican dollars at the same time. The question you got to ask yourself is, I was some money in there, Jamaica, right? And where do these people get their money from?
But
And that
everybody,
is, yeah,
but everybody know that still. Well, when I say everybody, most
yeah,
people who know anything about Jamaica know said that money's in Jamaica.
yes, money their yard, man. And they're so FBI, as a banker called me today and said, FBI would normally get involved with these things because it is involved in US dollars. And that is where the FBI kicks in there. So when the Minister of Finance said FBI is being uh, called in to help them with the investigation, I don't think they had a choice. So if FBI is calling in, if you're calling FBI for regularities in the financial sector for financial investigation, if you're going to FBI to say that you're going to help fixing crime, and at the same time you can't even fix the young people there because people are asking for this lady to resign. Jamaica may be heading towards a state which I won't call it. It is heading a particular way unless something harness. That is why I believe that the time has come now for people not to allow this to be a 9 day wonder, not to be a 12-day wonder, a 13-day wonder, a 14-day wonder, or a week wonder, but to carry it through to the end. Not let this lady take the rap for everybody, but get into the swamp. You know, if the BOJ is going to do the investigation or FBI, investigate everybody. And some of the stories which I've been getting on FFBJ on Facebook here, I mean, it is overwhelming. So many people with their sad stories. You know, but I always look for solutions. I'm a solution person. So because of my solution mentality, I'm having the Courtney Campbell, who is the group president of CEO of Victoria Mutual. And I'm having also, as well, as you can see right there, I'm having the Resward Burchinson, who is the senior vice president and CEO of Victoria Mutual Wealth Management, this Sunday night, January 29, 2023, 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Let's talk finances with the Victoria Mutual Group. So I'm going to have a conversation with them, and I'm trying to line up other persons for conversation. Let's see, because trust me, Gary, at the end of the day, I don't think and I don't believe that this is something which is affecting all of Jamaica. I think you have some kleptomaniac and some people who are just thief. I think companies like I think people like Victoria Mutual are companies which are good, and we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about them and how they assure people for when they invest with them, you know. And hopefully, I get JMMB and other companies to have that conversation. So I'm looking at some solutions, guy. You know,
Mm,
so 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 the Bolt saga, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm, you know, I think it is something that we can talk about, but I'm not into the running commentary like lots of people, you know, like everything being posted. You're having discussions. I'm having some discussions on it. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, those discussions is not just about the latest thing, because I'm just watching what people are sending out, watching what news networks are sending out, watching what people are actually saying, watching where people are creating defamation of character and defaming different persons based on their thinking and their bias, looking at the political angle as well. Because the opposition leader even said, when are we going to have local government elections? That is something. When are we going to have local government elections?
yeah,
That was pushed back because of COVID. That's important.
yeah.
Democracy. Is Jamaica, will Jamaica become a republic? Or is Jamaica heading towards a failed state? Those are questions people don't want to hear. You know? So that's it. Any last word before we wrap up?
You see, things are happening at a very quick rate, and because I think that Mr. Holness has been rather slow on responding to certain things.
Yes.
He hasn't been forthcoming. Now, not to say that he's hiding anything. I'm not saying that.
Mm,
I'm just
mm,
saying that he need he should really have be he should be a little bit more vocal on what is being said. Now, obviously, I'm not hearing everything he says. I'm not
yes.
there. We're not there, so we don't know exactly what is being said from what is not being said. But by the fact that we're here and we're not hearing much, if any, if anything at all, I think from the moment it hit the papers that Usain Bolt, someone that the Jamaicans are
T.
proud of, and he's like a national hero there. Yeah, a young man, let us say, that has kept his nose squeaky clean.
Them teeth him.
Yeah, they've something has happened. The prime minister, I believe, should have come out the next day or even the same day and say
Mm.
something needs to be done, but he hasn't said anything.
Well, he has, in fairness to him, he did come out and say a couple of things.
Like
And
what?
he came out and said that we're not going to be bailing out any companies when they, um, they're not run properly, because it is very clear that the SSL company wasn't run properly. And he has made it clear that he's got his finance minister who is out there, and he said, so he has made two statements as far as I'm concerned. He came out and actually said this is wrong, this is unfair, blah blah blah. He mentioned that Usain Bolt. He didn't mention Usain Bolt name, and Usain Bolt, they said, came out and said, "My name is Usain Bolt. I have a name." I don't know how true that is. And then he came back out again to say that this is wrong and set the policy clear. So he has been vocal, and I agree in a certain way that, you know, for him to come out quickly, there are two ways leaders can work. Leaders can actually come out and just say things, which is like not saying anything, by saying, "Sorry to hear about Usain Bolt. We're gonna get to the bottom of it," which is not saying anything, or get some more facts and get more information, and come out and speak like what he did. And have Nigel Clark, the Minister of Finance, coming out and saying certain things. So he did come out and say certain things as well. And we hope that all being well, that he will follow through, and that FBI, whatever, will get to the bottom of this, and then we'll have some resolution for not just Usain Bolt, but for all the persons, and not just all the persons that the lady maybe have scammed, but many people who have been talking about their accounts in different banks or institutions being dormant. And by being dormant, they want it to, they find it difficult to get access to their money. And somehow they feel like people are dipping into their money. It is alleged that people are dipping into their money, and that it should stop. And therefore, many people are saying it's not just these main banks or SSL, but it happened with other banks as well. Because, of course, there are a couple other girls which have been implicated and before the courts, I believe, with irregularities with Sagica, NCB, SSL. I don't know which other one, Gary. So we've got to get to the bottom of it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, we need to. We need to. We need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let me see. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much. I think I did something wrong with my comments things. I think I touched something on my comment section and messed it up. So sorry, guys, if your comment is not coming up. It was all my fault. Kelvin Moulton, um, and also Milton Newell. Thank you so much for coming on. And Gary, Saturday night, Talk and Sip. Those guys were here. Vita, Lester,
Or
Jody, and they were saying, "Where were you to do the benediction?" I don't know what happened there.
sorry,
And
sorry, friends. Sorry, sorry.
and Vita was misbehaving, and so there was, so they
Like,
were trying to find out where you were.
you just kind of have to come and do some righteous indignation one of these evenings.
So that's it. So Friday, so Friday night, Saturday night, um, and this Saturday morning actually, Saturday morning I've got a men's breakfast, which is very important for my church, and then Saturday evening talk and sip, and then Sunday night we've got a discussion with Victoria Mutual as well. All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Gary, you don't go anywhere. We'll come back again and we will speak to you. And remember to like and subscribe to the Silburn Show. Go on YouTube and Facebook and share and let people know about it. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, without a doubt, this Sunday night at 9 p.m., let's talk finances with the Victoria Mutual Group. And there I'll have the Courtney Campbell, the group president and CEO of Victoria Mutual, Wensworth Burchinson, who is the senior VP and CEO of VM Wealth Management. I want to talk. Let's talk finances with the Victoria Mutual Group. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about what they are doing. Many people may have their different agenda, but let's talk about them and what they're doing. Okay, so that's Saturday night. Talk and sip, and have a good one. That's not talk and sip. Sorry, in review. The late one. Thank you very much.